Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss the topic is few mark interview questions from Salesforce. Let's see. The first question is, what are the limitations of the Visual Force Custom Controller Constructor limitations? Or you can say, what are the limitations of Visual Force Custom Controller Constructor? What is the use of Dynamic Apex? So I have a scenario now. I have a parent and a child components in ARA programming model. Like that, I have implemented parent and child components in LWC programming model also. Then what component or which component will be loaded first in ARA programming model and in LWC programming model? Is there any difference? How can you perform DML operation on load of VF page? How can you handle mixed DML operation? So these are the questions. You just think for a few seconds. You try to answer yourself. Let's see. Before I'm going to reveal answers. So the first question is, what are the limitations of the Visual Force Custom Controller Constructor? So you have different kind of limitations here. The first thing is you can't perform data manipulation language, or you can't perform DML operations in a constructor method in a controller. So when you try to perform, you will get this error, DML currently not allowed. Along with that, you can't call or you can't invoke future methods from constructor. If you try to do that, it will give you error like @future call currently not allowed. Okay. Now, what is the use of Dynamic Apex? So basically, it allows the developers to create more flexible applications by providing the ability to get the describe information of S object and field, and describe information from Salesforce applications, and dynamic SOQL queries, dynamic SOSL queries, dynamic DMLs. So what is the purpose of describing information from S object? What is the purpose of describing field information? So when you are writing application for App Exchange product especially, then your application may be used by different users and different customers, right? So basically, what is the use of this describe information? What will be there in describe information? You can see that whether object is accessible or updatable or queryable or this kind of things you can see. You can have a look into this describe result information. Okay, so with that you can programmatically check the accessibility of your object and fields also when you talk about describe information. When you talk about describe information from Salesforce app, you can get the information about the app's label, namespaces, and tabs information. And coming to dynamic SOQL and dynamic SOSL and dynamic DML. So what is dynamic SOQL? Whenever you want to frame or whenever you want to construct a SOQL query in runtime, same way, whenever you want to construct SOSL in runtime, then you can use dynamic SOQL queries and dynamic SOSL queries because it is in a string format. You can format your queries. And coming to dynamic DMLs will be useful for performing the partial DML operations. So what is this partial DML operation here? Thing is, when you use static DML operations, static DMLs means just like insert, okay, your list, insert ACT OBJ, your instance. So then it is a static DML. So if you have 100 records in your list and you are trying to insert with the insert statement, if there is an error in one of the record in the list, then it gives error. It rolls back everything. But you want to avoid this situation that sometimes you want to insert all the records wherever you don't have any problem. Wherever you have the problem, it is okay. You want to skip that record to insert into the database. Then this DML, dynamic DMLs will be useful. So how it looks like: database dot insert of your list, comma false. If you add true in the place of false, then what is going to happen? It is again working as a static DML. Okay, so whenever you want to perform partial DML operations, dynamic DMLs will be useful. So now our scenario is, whenever we have parent and child components in Aura component programming model, or whenever you implemented parent and child components in LWC programming model. So what is the difference? Which one will be loaded in Aura programming model when you implement parent and child lightning components? What component will be loaded when you implement parent and child lightning components in LWC? So first thing is, in case of Aura components, child will be loaded first, then parent will be loaded. So for this, you just try to add console statements in both the init methods of parent and child components, then you can understand. Same way, in the case of LWC, parent will be loaded first, then child will be loaded. Okay, for this also, you just use connected callback hook. Okay, then lifecycle hook, then you can understand. You just use console.log in that method, then you can understand how it works. Now, let's go to another question. How can you perform the DML operation on load of VF page? So basically, whenever you want to perform DML operation on load of VF page, then you have to create a method which performs DML operation what you want, and then invoke it with the help of action attribute in page tag. Okay, we already know in the previous question that you can't perform DML operation in the constructor of controller, right? That's why you have the way to create or to perform DML operation, okay, with the help of action attribute, and you can invoke your method where you are performing DML operations in action attribute like this. Now, how can you handle mixed DML operation? First of all, when you will get the mixed DML operation error. So whenever we try to do DMLs on setup objects and non-setup objects in the same transaction, then we get this error. Let's repeat this. When we try to do DMLs on setup objects and non-setup objects in same transaction, then we get this error. So to avoid this, we have to do the following process. First thing is, you just create a method that perform DML operation on the one type of S object. It may be non-setup or setup. And then you create another method, second method, that uses future annotation. That means you have to create a future method to manipulate a second S object type. It may be a non-setup or setup object. So then you can avoid this kind of situation. So for example, what are the setup objects we have? Okay, few things we'll discuss. Setup objects, field permissions, user, object permissions, group. These kind of things are setup objects. Okay, you can have a look more setup objects. I'm going to give you reference links in the description of this video. You can see that. And non-setup objects. Non-setup objects like account, contact, custom objects, department, employees, these kind of things are non-setup objects. So next, so these are all the references. You can have a look. Please subscribe to Salesforce Textbook. All the best.